Greetings, fellow royals. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to Diplomacy is Not an Option. Episode 2, Tax the Rabble. Attention, the story campaign is in development. Currently, only 2 missions are playable. There's actually 3, so they kind of lie to you. In a good way. There's more. The full release of the story campaign arrives once Diplomacy is Not an Option leaves early access. There's also Endless Mode with 9 map precepts and Challenge with 18 maps. So before I jump into the campaign, I'll show you what they're referencing. These are the challenge maps. So the piece of cake challenges are sort of the tutorial challenges, where it will have you do one specific thing. Then you have the marathon challenges, which is to endure many forces for a long time. Epic battle challenges, which is just like strange challenges of like getting attacked by like zombies or being attacked by Scott the Bloody or being stuck in the Wooden Age, so on and so forth. Challenges against Legions of Doom, and then challenges to control troops, I think. I haven't done many of the challenges. I've only tried like 4 of the 18 that are, or whatever, however many there are. There's sandbox mode, if you want to just like mess around. I've never tried it. And then there's endless mode, which is continuing wave survival that ramps up. And there's different maps for it. And then, of course, corresponding different difficulties. And then the campaign. So we'll be doing the campaign. So the campaign starts off here. Wake up call. Your grandfather, Sir Duncan Ironbow, was a true war hero. In the battle for the independence of Semrania, he chopped 15 Inverland knights and bit off the ear of another. For that, Queen Sybil, the carefree, granted him a fief and title of nobility. The fief has been a poor place even under your grandfather, yet your father left much of it desolated, especially the wine cellar. When he broke his neck while hunting rabbits, your reign began. Being young, you wanted to become famous, but after 16 years of peaceful life in the middle of nowhere, you left those dreams behind. After all, unlike many, you already have a glorious bloodline and castle. So this is the campaign intro video. Wake up call. April 28th, 1491. The fire of peasant rebellion suddenly broke out in my fief. The mob wants me, my family, and anyone else who is any way connected with royalty dead. A mob of armed peasants is heading for my castle, ravaging everything their dirty rakes can reach. So the mission objectives is to repulse 4 enemy attacks and kill all rebels in the valley, otherwise they will join the final attacking wave. And I'll have the mission objectives shown on the top left. So pretty straightforward. First order of business, usually when I build, is... And if you're wondering, the maps are procedurally generated. So, if you retry, they're going to be different. So we start off with 4 swordsmen, 4 archers, and a catapult. And we actually have some forever materials here. So these stone ore fields and this bog iron are the like infinite stone and iron, which really only comes into play much later on when you research it, which is Town Hall level 3, which takes a while to unlock. So they're not particularly useful early game. We have the large iron vein here, which is going to be useful a little bit later on, and stone here. So the quick cursory look would be to set up the wood here. And the first thing I always build, for the most part, is a builder hut, because everything is easier when you have builders working on it. The other thing I can start to do is I'm going to separate into control groups the catapult out from the rest of the troops, because the catapult moves slowly, and I'm going to have my 8 starting troops start to explore while one of them grabs the wood cart. Now that we're getting the builder's house underway, I am going to get some woodcutters. And then we're also going to want to pair that with storage, so that the woodcutters don't have to walk all the way back to the castle to store their wood. They can just store it locally. Now, the materials that you use to build certain objects get deducted from your total no matter what stockpiles they're in. They don't need to be carried to the construction site, but when you produce materials, they need to be carried. So the other thing that we're going to want pretty early on is food, because we have a finite amount of food, and I usually start with you know, fish and berries that are close to the castle to limit travel time. And here is a cart full of food. Food is one of those resources where often you will be like maxed out, and don't try to pick anything up that you don't have space for. Oh, I lost this swordsman. Your troops will heal over time automatically, so it's not a big deal for them to sustain damage clearing out some villages. And then every building that you destroy will have a soul crystal. So I'm going to try to make the local area a little bit safer. So now that we have lumber mills, storage, we're going to go over to the Fisher Hut in a second. We will start our housing district, and I'm going to choose to put the houses here. So you can see the trees and bushes that were underneath the houses got basically mowed over. So I try to plan out where I put the houses in a way where there will be the least destructive possible, because there's a finite amount of like natural resources out there, that especially the natural resources that are close to your castle, so it's important not to destroy them if you can help it. Food does not spoil now. Man, I've lost my hearing. I feel like the game is still soft. Let me know if like it's just me being wrong and it starts to blow out your hearing. So we're getting those houses built. Now, one thing I will say about that is having a lot more people is really, really nice, but you need to make sure that you ramp up food production and production in general. You shouldn't basically have free workers ever if you can help it. So that's a mistake I found myself making early game, is adding a bunch of food, but not adding a bunch of resource exploitation, and then not being able to use those free people, which are being fed for production. Dog treats. Sorry, yeah. Hey, buddy. So there's tons of stone up here in this valley here. This is so many stone nodes. It's ridiculous. So these woodcutters, I'm going to shrink their zone and tell them to exploit the wood around the stone so that when it comes time to build stone quarries, I don't have to destroy this forest. This forest will be naturally cut down. And early on, it's really important to try to get the wood carts. There's not a lot of uses for stone early on, but wood is one of those, like, everything's made of it early game. So we have 5 houses. Let's get a few more. But I'm going up right around the bounds of my known area, so I'm going to have to be careful to scout that area out to make sure it's not too close to enemies. Because, yeah, it's pretty close. Got it. So once these houses are done... Oh, yeah, wow. We were, like, right up against... Now, unlike They Are Billions, it's not one of these situations where they destroy one building and it's immediate colony collapse. You know, destroying my house doesn't turn the people into, like, zombies or whatever, so it's a little bit less of a domino effect if you fail. Plus, there's the summon, as long as you have soul crystals, which can bail you out of blind spots. So this wood cart will allow me to build the barracks. Let's put the barracks... Whoa! Okay, my troops happen upon a larger cluster of houses. And what I'm having them do here is hold position. So they don't pursue. They stay more or less in formation, as you can tell. And that's really handy for when you're kiting and you're fighting. Alright, we got the lovely barracks. Down near the minimap, and maybe I should explain more of the UI elements. I explained all this. So this bar is your total stockpile space, and then what's in your stockpile, which I think is pretty self-explanatory. So there's stone, wood, and iron. Then you have soul crystals. You don't have a finite amount of soul crystals that you can store. In fact, there's a challenge map that, like, you're a wizard and you start off with, like, 3,500 soul crystals, which is quite a lot. And you just, like, spell cast, nuke everything to death. And then gold. Gold is obtained through the market or found on the map. Gold is not found on the map often, but when it's found, it's in the wheelbarrows. It's not like a resource to be exploited through mining. Down here is how many waves will be on this map. So this map is a survive 4 waves. And here I can see that the enemy will attack on day 4. Meaning currently it's day 2, as you can see in the top. So I have 2 days in order to prepare for that. And one good preparation would just to be getting a whole lot more archers. Now, what I don't have right now is, I don't have, like, a gravedigger. I haven't had anyone die, but I do have to be careful about that, because it's pretty easy to just have people perish and then a big die-off. So, how works the population bar? The population currently is 41, and then the shaded area is how many people are going to come. So if I mouse over it will tell me that 23 people are going to come as a result of the attractiveness of the castle, and then the max is 75. All right, as soon as I have a little bit more wood, I'm going to start to get stone mines too. So one thing to work on pretty early on is to get your town hall up to level 2. A level 1 town hall is not capable of doing very much. And then once you start to have excess resources, using those excess resources to... using the excess resources in order to try to start up your research is also pretty handy. Now, another reason why I don't have the catapult rolling out is catapults will do terrain damage. So if I had a catapult attack like this village over here, for instance, every time it shoots, it would destroy trees and the like. So if I'm trying not to deforest the area, it's wise not to incorporate them. And I've now built a stone mine and storage for the stone next to it. Now the game's telling me that my granary is full, so the next smart thing for me to do, because my fishermen and berry pickers can't do work when the granary is full, is to get a granary there. So I'll put the granary... Where's this fishing spot? I don't want to block a fishing spot. I don't have the people. I think the fishing spot is here. So I'll put the granary here. And that's pretty close to those berry bushes. And I'll put a berry pick there. Shrink the zone so it doesn't work too far. Now that it's a new day, you're going to see that I have 23 new unemployed people because they just immigrated. And we'll put them to work. So, 4 of these new people, let's get 4 of them employed as woodcutters cutting down this section of the woods. And then as I have a little bit more wood, I'll get more stone cutters. So we're working towards the first town hall upgrade, which is 100 stone and 150 wood. And then also, now that the impending attack is only a day away, I see that it is coming from the west. So this, I just oriented the map so that north is top. So it's west-southwest, sort of in this direction. Typically what ends up happening is they run kind of like a straight-ish path to your castle. Meaning that if I put a small section of walls here, if I can afford them, a small section of walls here, it will help to thwart the attack. Which I intend to do. But I can also, early on, I do find it pretty useful to use soul crystals in order to make the early game attacks a lot easier to defend. Sometimes building a bunch of like temporary wooden walls to help defend against attacks is more expensive than it's worth, in my opinion. Now there is a build priority. Right now I have every building built, but if you ever want to change the build priority, you can hit the hotkey U or click this button and it will move it to the top of the build list. So if there's things that you need to build urgently, the game can accommodate that. So let's go ahead and stick the catapult on a tower, and then I'll build a few walls. Well, really almost like token walls. I'm not really planning on setting up a significant amount of defense infrastructure. Just enough to keep the houses safe. So maybe I don't want that there. And a lot of the people that have been immigrating, I'm just employing them as forest cutters, wood cutters. Because wood is one of those things like you just need a ton of early game. The lumber mills do have an upgrade. Tons of your facilities, like your stone mines, your lumber mills, your barracks, their upgrade is bound to your town hall's upgrade level. So you need to upgrade your town hall in order to unlock the new building. So reading the top left, my lord, for the first time in history, your castle will be stormed. And if we are to tell anyone what it was like, I advise you to make some steps. Eagle-eyed scouts lack arithmetic basics. One said attackers are plenty, the second said very many, and the third lost count. The fourth can't count at all. So, I'm being attacked by an uncountable number, I guess. Now, the campaign maps, like, don't ramp too ridiculously immediately, but it is one of these situations where, like, you ought to be ready. So I have 1 minute and 15 seconds to prep, which should be enough to get most of these walls built. But what I will do is I will prioritize this guard tower, and then I'm going to stick the archers that I have free and available on the walls themselves. And the catapult, because that guard tower is much taller, will have a much more clearer line of sight stationed up there. How they got it up there, I don't know. So the other thing to mention is you can tell these guys to just attack like a specific point. So if you want to just like attack a choke point, if you have some sort of terrain choke point, you can tell them to do that. There's also attack priority. So I like to often set my siege machines to attack the strongest target, because the strongest target will often be enemy siege, will be enemy catapults and the like, and it's really useful. The guard tower also has the benefit of giving 35% additional range to the thing stationed on it. So with the catapult up in a tower, my catapult can shoot farther than the enemy's catapult. Just to visualize that, the catapult's range is almost to this bush right here. And then if I tell my catapult to get down, it's now way short of that bush. So it's really useful to use siege machines on towers in order to outrange enemy siege. And the same is true of walls. The troops that are on the walls have a 10% bonus range. Now, the enemy troops that come to attack you you typically have melee units and enemy siege units. You don't have a lot of enemy ranged. It's very atypical for enemy ranged units to attack, but melee and siege is very, very common, as you will see. Now, it's entirely possible that the enemies come this way too, which would be sour. So I'm going to build like a little bit of temporary walls down that way. My granaries are full again, so I'll build another. And we are now at maximum population. We don't have the space for any additional people to immigrate. So if I want to expand my population beyond 75, I'm going to need houses. Average Beast, Zinlin, and Stickiest, thank you, and Crusty Rhino too. Thank you all for the 3 subs. Cheers. So here we go. First raid. See how we fare. Okay, I was a little right to be... Okay, they're basically very small. Boom! Siege attack. But I think what I'm going to have to do is move my archers out down to this wall, because I planned not according to where they were going to attack from, which is fine. This is why we have extra walls. But that catapult there is put in big work. But here, you just saw that the catapult struck there, so there is not a clear path for this catapult to land shots on that troop. So sometimes it will get it, sometimes it won't, as you can see. So line of sight is a big thing when you're planning out your defenses. My lord, allow me to introduce you a crowd of unwashed scum who have dared to challenge you. My lord, apparently the starving, destitute, and deprived rabble were simply looking for a way to die with dignity. As benefits a wise shepherd, it shows that we moved our flock in the right direction. Okay, so that attack is thwarted. I'm going to send my troops back to do fighting thingies. I'm going to leave these walls in place. There is an auto repair. So I don't really care about these broken walls. I don't intend for these to be permanent edifices of our kingdom, so I'm going to leave them broken. I don't want my builders to, well, I'll repair it. It's only 3 wood, but a lot of the times, well, what I'll end up doing is I'll have like gates and the like that I will wall up just for an attack in that direction, because gates are not as strong as walls. And then once the attack is over, I'll destroy the temporary walls, which offer extra bonus defense. So another one of our mission objectives is to kill all the rabble in the valley. So that's what I'm doing right now, is slowly going from village to village here, killing all the rabble. And I really cannot stress enough how nice it is to tell them to hold position and slowly approach like this, so that they don't piss off like a bajillion at once, which you often will get if you just like run in there. This becomes a little bit easier to do, where you don't have to kite as much when you unlock spearmen and healers that are as a result of a level 2 castle, which we're about to get. Because spearmen tank pretty well, and healers can heal them up, which keeps you from having to do so much micromanagement. So there we go. Castle is, or town hall rather, is entering level 2. And this will take a while. The level 2 to level 3 upgrade takes even longer. Now, one thing I haven't ramped up is the amount of food I produce. So that's another thing that I'm going to have to do. The first fish pond that we exploited is somewhat close to being tapped out. Just to give you an idea of how quick that can happen. But when we get a town hall level 2, we will get access to farms. It's also pretty handy to leave carts with food out here if you don't need the food. That way, if you're ever having like a uh-oh, I'm out of food kind of situation, you can just quickly fetch the food. Or slowly, it depends on your troop units, but I left a cart of food out there for that exact reason. So the map is rather small, so it's not going to be that hard to patrol the perimeter and clear out all the enemies. With some of the new people that we have in the kingdom, let's get some additional stone mines. And storage for said mines. Tab with depleting resources? Yeah, sort of. There are some resources that don't deplete, but that's an apt analogy or apt comparison. All right, another thing that we could do here is to start our research. So one research I really love to do is the Gorganthian Potion, which allows your archers to enter a battle trance where they attack very, very fast for 20 seconds, and it has like a 2.5 minute-ish cooldown. So that will be the first thing I research. And then I'll probably start to do the research for builder and worker speed. The earth cracked with blue light. I think that is a reference to... I don't know. I'll say I don't know. I think the game plans on having updates where you fight like the unholy... You fight like the legions of hell. And that might be a reference to it. Or actually, it might be, I forget. It could be as a result of the, what's it called? The alchemical thing. We'll find out. So the town hall did get upgraded. which is going to allow us to upgrade the barracks, which is a really nice thing to do. And then also allows us to upgrade lumber mills, stone mines, etc. I don't necessarily see that the lumber mill's often all that worth upgrading, because the lumber mill tier 1 is free. It's just people. And tier 2, excuse me. Tier 2 will allow you to make more trees per, or more wood per trees, but it costs you wood and stone to build. Oh man. Thank you for tuning in to Diplomacy is Not an Option, which originally streamed live on Twitch December 12th. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching, and a special thank you to my Patreon patrons, Twitch subscribers, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you in next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell.